Hey guys, John here, and welcome back to the VPS Avenger 2 Master Course. This is video 7, and today is all about the drums, the drum sequencer, and the trigger tab. Avenger 2 ships with multiple different drum kits and drum sequences. We can also make our own. We can switch out different parts of our drum kit. We can use our own drum samples, add effects to individual drums, individual volume, pan, pitch, and EQ. So let's go ahead and get started. So from an init preset, let's first mute our oscillator and let's navigate to the drums tab. So in the top center here, we have our 12 slots for our individual drums. And then to the right of that, we have our routing panel, which is kind of similar to the other oscillators. And then below that here is where we switch out our drum kit and our sequences. And over here in the bottom center is our sample editor. And then finally, we have the drum sequencer tab that we can switch to right over here. Okay, so let's load a drum kit. We can go over here to Factory 2, and then down over here where it says Deep Tech, let's double click this guy here. So now we have a drum kit and a drum sequence loaded, and if we play a key, we're gonna hear our drums. Now this menu where we picked our drum kit also is the one where we pick our sequences here. Now you'll notice that there's this green lock here. So what this means is that once we load up a drum kit, the associated sequence will load up with it. So if we change it out to a different drum, so for example, this one here, it's gonna be a different sequence and a different drum kit. If we go back to Deep Tech and take this lock off, we can keep this drum set and then go through different sequences. So now let's take a look at the sequencer itself by navigating to this drum sequencer tab if you haven't already. Now this should look familiar to you if you've ever programmed drums before. So the main drum kit is laid out from the bottom to the top vertically, and it's going to be the same thing down over here on the bottom. So for now, let's load up a different drum kit. Let's go for a Cyber Kit 1 and let's take a listen to that. So we can clear out all these drum hits here by going to the top left where it says clear and clicking that right here. And if we hit a key, we won't hear anything. So now we need to start programming in our own drums. And we can do that by left clicking where we'd like the drums to appear. And we can right click to remove them. Also use the delete key. So now let's put something kind of simple together. And maybe a snare as well. So now we have pretty much a basic drum groove. And if we ever make anything that we like, we can always come up here to this menu and click this, and we can either save the drum kit or we can save the sequence. And these vertical bars underneath these hits is where we're going to adjust the velocity for each drum hit. So let's clear this out and let's take a look at some other tools and shortcuts. So firstly, we can zoom in and out with our mouse wheel. And if we have a selected drum programmed, for example, we can move this around with our arrow keys on our keyboard. If we hold shift and then hold down either the up or the down arrows, it's going to adjust the velocity for that hit. If we have lots of different drums programmed, something kind of like this, we can hold down shift and then drag for a multi-select. We can also hold down shift and then right click for lots of cool different menus here. The shift right click menu is very helpful to save time. So for example, we can hold down shift and go here to our kick drum, right click this here and go to fill fourth, and look how much faster that is. We can also do that on the snare, for example. So if we hold down shift, go to the snare, right click and then say go fill clap. Now we have. And furthermore, we can go to this guy here and hold down shift and then right click here as well. And then we can do something like fill the offbeat. So this way is much faster to make this drum beat than we originally did in the beginning. The repeat commands are also very helpful. So for example, if we had two kick drums like this, and then we shift highlight these and shift right click, we can do repeat once and it'll do this right here, which is really cool. Or we can do the same thing and then shift highlight, shift right click, and then we can go repeat quarter, which does this right over here. Or for example, we can click these two here, shift highlight here, and then repeat all, which is actually very cool. And under this menu as well, we can shift right click, we can clear everything, or we can clear everything except the kick drum. So if you haven't noticed already, every time we hold down shift, it automatically goes to this different icon here. So when we hold down shift and then we right click, if we don't want to always hold down shift, we can always switch the tool to this guy, and then right click is just going to work like that. And we can also multi-select as well. Whenever we have a drum selected, it's going to be highlighted in red. So for example, let's put a kick drum right over here. So now once it's in red, these four knobs down over here are going to pertain only to this hit. So we can individually control the velocity, the panning, the pitch, and the gate. So let's take a look at that real quick. To the right of these knobs, we have a menu where we can roll the drum. So basically think of ratcheting these drums. So for example, we can put another kick drum right over here. And now this one is selected in red. So what we can do is we can hit this menu. Let's go to roll 3 and then maybe go to even, something kind of like this. And let's take a listen to that. So now we have 3 hits on this drum, and we can go all the way up to 8. We also have a couple other options underneath this menu. So for this example, let's put a snare drum right about here. And let's hit this menu and we see reverse sample, and then we see reverse sample and sync. So let's take a listen to the first one. And then the second one. So the difference here is very apparent, right? The reverse will simply start the reverse sample once it's triggered, and then reverse end sync will end the sample where it's programmed at. So here we have another velocity knob. Now this one deals with the velocity of the sequence as a whole. So for example, let's load up this kit here, and this is going to be on 0 for now, but let's bring this all the way up to 100% and let's play a soft note. Now a hard note. If you don't like this velocity sensitivity, then make sure to bring this knob all the way down to 0. And next we have length, which can go all the way as low as 1 and all the way to the top at 16. And to the right of that, we have shuffle, which changes the rhythmic groove of the sequence. And finally, here on the speed section, we can control the playback speed of our sequence. So right now we're in 1/16. And we can half time this here by going to 1/8. So now let's take a look at the upper center window and see what options we have available to us. We can mute individual drums, we can solo individual drums, we can change the volume of those drums, the panning and the pitch, as well as a lock here. And if we select this lock, it's not going to switch out the samples once we switch out different drum kits. If we right-click the name of the drum, we have an additional menu that pops up. We can lock all, we can unlock all, we can save the drum kit, we can save the drum kit as. We can copy the sample to a different place, we can swap the sample, and we can remove the sample altogether if we don't want it. We can also loop the sample by clicking on this loop icon right over here. If we hover our mouse over these different waveforms, we have some additional options available to us. So for example, let's take a look at our snare, and these 3 lines appear, so let's go ahead and click this. Now this is going to open up a context menu for different snare drums that we can audition to while we play our track. So for example, and you'll see how it switches out the sample once we start clicking on it. And if we were to do this with the kick drum as well, it's going to open up a context menu of just the kick drums. Very, very useful. So if we hover with our mouse over these waveforms again, so for example, let's take a look at the kick drum, and we click on edit, this is going to bring us to the sample editor. Now on the left-hand side, we can adjust the start position, and then on the right-hand side, we can adjust the end position. Now down here at the bottom, we have volume, pitch, and pan. Now these 3 knobs are going to be the same ones that we find up here. And to the right of that, we have spike, which helps out with the attack of the sound. It gives it more of a spiky sound. And on the right-hand side, we have a knob called delay. Now this one is pretty self-explanatory. If we turn this to the right, it's going to delay the sample. However, if we turn this to the left, this is basically bringing up this green vertical line. And wherever that line is basically going to be where the sample starts once we sequence that into the drum sequencer. And then on the right-hand side, we have a low pass and a high pass filter. On the bottom left-hand side, we have a menu called Loop Stretch. Now, if we click this here, we have a default option of off, which plays the sample as is. Then we have turnable, which preserves the tightness. And then finally, we have stretch, which preserves the pitch. And if we select a different mode here, we can notice that the menu options here have changed as well. And over here on the right-hand side, we have a bit and sample rate reduction knob, or both at the same time if you want. And this is the same control as we spoke about earlier in the course when we discussed the oscillators. And on the bottom right of the screen, we have a mode we can switch from monophone to polyphone. And on the very bottom right-hand side, we have an additional gain slider as well that we can go up or down. So now let's take a quick look at the amp section. So up here on the top left, let's go from sample to amp. Now when we play a key, it's going to play our whole sequence. So up here at the routing section, let's disable the drum sequencer so we can just hear the kick drum. Now here we have a whole amp envelope, so we can go something like this. Adjust the curve. Really customize it how we'd like to. We can enable it and disable it here. We can adjust the grid and the speed as well, and also the strength of this envelope as well. And next up, we have the pitch section with its own envelope. So for example, on the bottom left-hand side, we can enable it or disable it. We can adjust the grid size, the speed, so how fast this is going to go through. And then we have the range on the bottom right-hand side, a default of 12, and all the way at the top is going to be 48, and all the way at the bottom will be 0. And finally, we have a sample independent EQ up here on the top right. So now let's take a look at how routing works inside Avenger. Let's say we want to put reverb on just the snare. So let's click the snare, and then go up here to the routing tab, hit the plus, and we can put it on a reverb send. And there we go, we can increase the slider. And then we can left click and remove this if we don't want it. But now let's say we want to have reverb on everything except the kick drum. So we can hold down shift and select everything except the kick drum. And then click the plus for the routing and then select the reverb again. Now everything has reverb except the kick drum. We can verify that if we go through these different individual ones, we can see the reverb send is applied to all of these. You can also send individual drums to its own effect rack, so click the drum, and then click the plus, and then send it to whatever effects rack that you like. So you might be wondering, is it possible to use your own samples inside Avenger? It absolutely is. All you have to do is navigate to your Files tab, find your samples on your computer, and then drag and drop them to the appropriate slots. And that's very important too, so keep your kick drums on your bass drums and your snares on your snares. That way all the sequences will work with your own drum kits. If you're more comfortable mixing your drums with faders as opposed to these knobs up here, we can absolutely do that inside Avenger. All we have to do is navigate to the Mixer tab and then navigate to the Drums tab. And here we go. We have all our faders, we have our pan control, our sliders, and routing options up here at the top. So now let's take a look at the Trigger section by clicking on the Trig tab next to the Drums. Trigger at first can seem a little bit complicated, but it's actually very simple and a really cool feature inside Avenger. So the Trigger tab lets us trigger samples based on different events that we choose. So for example, let's say that we want to trigger a sample when we press or release a key, or via MIDI CC, or even when we click a macro button on or off, or even both. So we have 10 slots available to us, so let's check out how they work, and let's first mute our oscillator right over here. So let's first load up a sample. Let's grab our mouse and let's hover over these 3 lines on the first slot and click this. Now this is going to open up our browser. Now we can go to Samples, Factory Lead Synth, and let's go to our Analog 70s Lead 1. And when we click that, we can see that it's now loaded on this slot. So let's close our browser and let's play some notes. Now we don't hear anything, and that's because we haven't told Avenger how to trigger this sample. So up here on the top left-hand side, let's click Disabled and let's go down to Note On. And now let's play some notes. So now we hear the sample and it's triggering once we press our notes. Now we can use this absolutely as an oscillator, totally possible. Now there's some other options that we can explore as well, such as note off. So let's click this here and let's go to note off. Now once we press a note, we don't hear anything. It's only once we let go that we hear the sample being triggered. Note off is really cool once we start adding another oscillator into the mix because it lets us spice up our sound a little bit more on the release phase. So for example, let's unmute our first oscillator. Let's give this first oscillator maybe some unison and let's take a listen to that. So let's navigate back to our Trig tab and then mute our first oscillator. And you'll notice if we have note off selected or note on selected, on the right-hand side, we have something called global MIDI, which allows all the MIDI notes to trigger the sample. However, what's really cool is below this, we have oscillators. So right now, only the first one's available because that's the only one active. Now, if we select this, this will allow the first oscillator to only trigger the sample. So let's say the first oscillator was only in a certain range of keys and we only want those keys or that oscillator to trigger this sample. That's how we would go and set that up. And on the right-hand side, we have a button called All, which allows all the notes or a specific note to only trigger that sample. Next up, we can trigger the sample via MIDI CC. Now, this is really cool because once we click this list, we have all these different options to choose from. So for this example, let's go for the first one, this first MIDI CC, and this is going to be the mod wheel. And here's going to be the value that we set. So right now it's 64 by default. Let's bring this up to 70. And you'll notice once we start bringing up our mod wheel, once it passes 70, it's going to trigger the sample. So next up on the list is going to be macro button. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So once we select macro button, we have a choice of macro button 1 or macro button 2. So let's stick on 1 for now. And then on the right-hand side, we can either choose on, off, or both. So on, once we click the macro button on, it's going to trigger the sample. If it's off, it's going to trigger the sample, or we can do it on and off. So let's go for on first. So once we trigger this macro button on, we hear our sound. If we turn it off, we don't hear anything. However, we can go to off, and then once we turn it on, we don't hear anything, and then we turn it off, we hear it, and then we can go down to both, which I'm sure you know exactly what that does by now. So let's go back to note off and look at some other features here. In the center area, we have a mute button and a solo button, and then next to that, we have a probability knob. Now, this one's really cool because at 100%, every time it receives a trigger, the sample will be played. We can reduce this to 50%, so every time it receives a trigger, it'll only play 50% of the time, and we can always bring it down to 0%, so every time it receives a trigger, it'll actually never play the sample. Then we have a volume control, and then we have a pitch control, so negative 12 semitones on the bottom, and then plus 12 semitones on the top. So whenever we click edit, we have the sample editor down here, and all these knobs should also be available to us like we saw in the drum oscillator. We do have a knob down here on the bottom left called key track. Now by default, this is going to be normal mode, but we have a couple of different options that are actually pretty cool. So we have key track with random sample. So every time we hit a different note, it's going to trigger a different sample. And then another one here at the bottom is a random sample without pitch. So if we have a collection of a lot of different noises that we kind of want a release sound to, but we don't want the same noise to be played, that's a really cool option to pick from. We also have a voices category right down here. So by default, this is going to be on 8, meaning how many voices can be played at the same time. So if we brought this down to 1 and played a note, it's our only voice that can be played. If we play this note and played another one, the first one will cut off, as you can see down over here on the view. Now, if we change it to 2, for example, we can only have 2. And so on and so forth. By default, it is on 8, and that's pretty good for most cases, I find. And on the top left, we have a pitch tab over here. Now, this should be very familiar to you as it's very similar as the drums that we spoke about earlier on in the video. All right, guys, well, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you in the next video.